It's not a job, it's a life. It's just like, I want this life.
Would you welcome Jerry Seinfeld?
Seinfeld. One, the only, Jerry Seinfeld, ladies and gentlemen.
He's the most famous comedian on the planet.
When I wake up in the morning and I realize I'm me, I go berserk.
Do you like being a big star?
It's the greatest.
And he's one of the best comedians on the planet.
Let's talk about your show.
Okay, I got a show.
It's the hot summer hit, soon to be a series, Seinfeld.
But I don't want to be a pirate.
You got the biggest show on TV.
One of television's most popular shows ever.
Critical success.
The critics call it the winner.
Thank you very much.
Rating success.
One of the most popular sitcoms of all time.
Did you know that one of comedy's most iconic voices, Jerry Seinfeld, recently took a bold stand against the rising tide of woke culture in Hollywood? In a jaw-dropping interview, Seinfeld didn't hold back, targeting Amy Schumer and what he sees as the dangers of political correctness stifling creativity. His candid remarks sent shockwaves through the industry, raising important questions about the future of comedy in an increasingly sensitive world. What does Seinfeld's critique mean for comedians today? And can humor survive in a culture that's becoming harder to please? Today, one must make a stern statement that the world of comedy is in trouble. Political correctness, which used to be a means for promoting social justice, has turned into a creativity destroyer in the eyes of many comedians. You're no longer able to laugh at jokes when it has become a minefield that requires you to keep your mouth shut.
You're funny, I'm interested. You're not funny, I'm not interested.
Okay.
And I have no interest in gender or race or anything like that, but everyone else is kind of with their little calculating, is this the exact right mix?
For fear that what you say will be collectively deemed wrong. For conservative comedians and those who are willing to risk their necks to challenge the spirit of comedians, this pressure to clean up humor is asphyxiating. Artistic freedom, which has always been the essence of comedy, is in danger because of the quest to offend nobody, which some people describe as the death of comedy. Enter Jerry Seinfeld, a comedian who uses humor and is very selective when it comes to things that may offend the audience. Still, the ever-tightening grip of woke culture on the entertainment sphere of the modern world is seemingly merciless, even to such a figure as Seinfeld. This new generation of comedy audience has become very sensitive. The comedian had to come out in defense of comedy, severally stating that this new audience culture is killing comedy.
Oh, this really pisses me off, but go ahead. It really pisses me off. People think it's the census or something? I mean, this has got to represent the actual pie chart of America. Who cares? It's just funny, you know, funny is the world that I live in.
Speaking with Amy Schumer, Seinfeld complained about the current state of comedy and said that back in the 90s, or most likely the early 2000s, making people laugh was so much easier. At the time, while practicing in front of the mirror, Seinfeld's self-titled show dealt with politics, religion, race, gender, romance, and homosexuality, not to mention that it went around the edge. While those jokes today are seen as too provocative or too politically incorrect, which can result in scandal and career ruining. The fact that there have been changes in these social sins has been bothered by Seinfeld very much, but he has stated his distaste for political correctness before, as in 2015 when he appeared on the Late Night with Seth Meyers' show, only to complain that the young people cannot take a joke, even if it is thrown at them in the politest manner possible. He proceeded to explain an example he experiences in his daily work to show how ridiculous things have become. A comment, for example, people giving all sorts of excuses for always having to look at their phones, was creating laughter around the place, but somehow the audience took offense. It is amusing to Seinfeld seeing the provocative reaction of people, which is a clear pointer that comedy, which was once a platform where taboo was put to task and restriction, is now a place where every word is magnified. This trend toward perpetual offense begs the question, at what cost? How far will this go? Seinfeld's experience highlights the growing tension between the need for humor and the fear of crossing invisible lines that could lead to cancellation. Perhaps it's time we all took a page from Jerry's book and started questioning whether being offended all the time is really how we want to live. After all, who wants comedy that's as bland as oatmeal? Not Jerry, and certainly not those who appreciate the art of making people laugh. Seinfeld's concerns over political correctness aren't new. During an interview with BuzzFeed Brews and CBS, he addressed criticisms about the perceived lack of diversity on his show, Comedians in Cars Getting Coffee. The early episodes predominantly featured white male comedians, which led to accusations of Seinfeld perpetuating a homogeneous view of comedy. In later seasons, however, the show included more diverse guests, such as Sarah Silverman and Tina Fey. Still, Seinfeld was baffled by the expectation that his series should mirror actual societal demographics. His frustration was evident as he pushed back against the idea that his show needed to represent some sort of census of America. Following this, the media scrutiny only intensified, with some outlets painting Seinfeld as insensitive and resistant to change in an increasingly diverse society. The backlash he faced underscores the tension between maintaining creative freedom and adhering to the demands of a politically correct culture. The narrative that Jerry Seinfeld has a bone to pick with college campuses has also been a recurring theme in the media. This perception stems from a 2015 interview on ESPN Radio's The Herd with Colin Cowherd, where Seinfeld directly addressed the impact of political correctness on comedy. When asked whether PC culture was hurting comedy, Seinfeld didn't hesitate. Yes, it does. He explained that he no longer performs at colleges because he's heard too many stories from other comedians about the overly sensitive atmosphere on campuses. To illustrate his point, he shared a personal anecdote about a conversation with his 14-year-old daughter, in which he expressed concern over how even innocent remarks could be misinterpreted as offensive. He said that most youths often misuse the words exist or racist merely because they do not comprehend the meanings of such terms. His critique highlighted a growing concern among comedians, how challenging it is to act in places where one is always in a compromising position that might offend someone or the other. More emphasis about the remarks made by Seinfeld was made during an interview held in 2018 between Seinfeld and Ricky Gervais, in which he pointed out that he was not actually boycotting colleges, but was just reiterating something that a comedian friend of his had told him.
They're just... Comedy is its own thing. It's like gold and when you're mining. When you find it, it's gold. Nobody cares what rock it was in or how it was found or what it relates to, or it's just gold. So if something's funny, it's funny. There's no need to define, explain, or justify it.
He said that the reporting of his initial comments had been distorted in a way. Nonetheless, the views raised a lot of concerns within the public, especially on matters of political correctness in comedy, especially within campuses that are associated with lots of liberalism. Although recently, its university, Duke University, where Seinfeld's daughter was proud to be graduated and where his son is studying at the moment, officially stated that Seinfeld would give a speech there in 2024 as the commencement speaker. This choice was rather bizarre, especially given his previous remarks about the college setting. Seinfeld, in a video announcement, showed how enthusiastic he was to speak to the graduating class, and this, in a way, indicates his readiness to reconnect with a younger generation. This decision elicited quite some reactions, especially from those people that had heard or read his past criticisms about campus life. While he was excited, not all students welcomed him with the same excitement, especially since Seinfeld was chosen as the commencement speaker. Some complained, quoting his previous comments. A student from San Diego State University wrote an open letter to Seinfeld, noting the politically correct position of many students, but to stand up for social justice and for deserving young people, and Seinfeld to come up with programs and sketches that will cause people to think, but at the same time, be considerate. This serves to remind us that the relation of comedy and politically correct language remains something to be debated, especially in the academic environment. Seinfeld has been consistent in his views on tailoring comedy to fit modern sensibilities. In the same 2015 interview with Cowherd, he expressed disinterest in adjusting his comedy to meet demographic checkboxes, arguing that this approach undermines the essence of comedy. He referenced fellow comedian Louis C.K., who faced backlash for a controversial performance on Saturday Night Live. Seinfeld admired Louis C.K.'s ability to perform without worrying about the potential backlash, seeing it as a validation of his own approach to comedy. When you relate to comedy, what are your thoughts towards the strictness of boundaries and the contemporary ethical standards? Can political correctness help to enrich the comedy show, or does it apparently diminish it? Please share your views in the comments down below, and do hit on the subscribe button for further videos on more interesting topics and gossip,